We're talking Invincible Season 4, Episode 5, episode title, Give Us a Moment, which we all need after the ending of that, but we got a ton to talk about. Omni-Man returns to Earth, obviously talks to Mark and sees his wife who was not happy to see him. Oliver and Invincible say, we got to head off and go to space to fight, and we get a crazy action fight that I was not expecting at all. So in the comments, let me know, was the Conquest Invincible fight the most brutal fight we've seen? And just for context, I compare it to the end of season 3 because I thought that fight was brutal as well. It's Marley Phillips. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. Without further ado, let's jump into it. So, Scotty, we got a lot to talk about with this episode. Kind of a pacey episode. It felt like a setup, but at the end, they give us a nice punch. But let's start right at the beginning. Nolan returns to Earth. We saw that last time as he seen Mark and Eve on the ceiling, or not on the ceiling, on the roof, seeing them out, and you knew the drama was coming. And like you were asking for, it kind of starts and ends pretty soon. We get about 5-10 minutes, and hey, we got to move on. The Viltrumites is on the way. How do you think they performed with that part of the episode?
I was so glad that we did not get a whole episode of them saying goodbye. I was so glad because in my mind I said, man, this whole episode is going to be Omni-Man apologizing to Debbie. That's going to take half an hour. Then we got to have Mark say goodbye to his girlfriend and his family. That's going to take forever. But that whole first part was like 20 minutes, and then went straight to space. I liked it. Yeah. I think it did well.
Yeah, I think it did really well, especially having. I thought this was a little nice moment in there, but having that dinner where they all get together before they leave was a nice family moment that they wrapped up in like a minute. Obviously, Eve is still holding back from telling Mark she's pregnant, so that's something that you probably should have told him before you call him and fight, a bunch of supermen, because you probably will die, which we'll get to later. But it would have been nice to tell him, but still holding that back. But they do a lot of moments also with the suit guy. I forget the suit guy's name.
Tech Jacket.
No, not Tech Jacket. The ones that makes the uniforms for the heroes.
I can't think. It's not Arnie. I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I thought there's some nice moments were there, even and that was a good moment because he's like scared Omni-Man's gonna kill him, and he's like, oh thank God, I'm alive. So good to have Omni-Man back. But we move on quickly to space, and man, I was like, oh, we're gonna get the hanging out, we're gonna get the comedy with the ship, we're gonna get all that stuff, and really jumping right into it, we don't. The Viltrumites show up very. That was right. The biggest, man, we talk about horror a lot and like jump scares that come out of nowhere. It's like, wow, I didn't see that coming. Like, this is maybe my biggest one in a lot of things that I've seen where I'm like, wow, did not see that coming. And obviously that fight starts and goes brutal very fast. Obviously Tech, right before we jump into that, let me not skip over Tech Jacket. Obviously we get to see her who joins the group, and I don't know much about Tech Jacket. So if you do, obviously we get a little background episode, but what's Tech Jacket like in the comics?
Well, he's a guy in the comic book. They didn't really give a lot of backstory for the ones in the show, but in the book, he's a kid that saw and I think it's an Eldarian, is what the race is called. But they died. One of them died in front of him. It's like an alien jack, kind of like Blue Beetle from DC.
Yeah,
it's like an alien tech armor goes on him. Obviously, he can self-heal, all that kind of stuff. And he starts fighting crime. But that's the Eldarian. He has his own comic book, actually. Ted Jacket has his own comic book. I never read his own book the whole way through, but that's basically his backstory.
Okay, so we get to meet.
Why they decided to change it to a girl in this one? Doesn't seem like it really matters.
Probably not, but so we get to see Tech Jacket. Obviously, she joins the crew, and they go off. And like I said, the Viltrumites show up very early on, and it's a fight. And it's cool because one, we get to see what all these characters can do, and kind of preliminary of them working together. What we both thought was you're gonna see them go off. They're obviously gonna have to collect more things before they fight the Viltrumites. You're gonna get this training montage. You're gonna get Oliver developing as a fighter, getting Mark to develop some because they're gonna need the help, and obviously get a couple more heroes. But they throw them right into the action, which I think will be preliminary to them sort of getting better. And you get to see what Tech Jack can do. The new Adam, obviously, or Alan. I keep always calling him Adam. Alan the alien. You get to see what he can do. I don't know why I do that, but Alan obviously fighting off with his new power because he's been growing. Obviously, Omni-Man, Mark, and Oliver getting to fight down. Now, Conquest, as we seen last episode, came back. I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry right here, just give a moment. If I am Mark, regardless of what happens in the rest of this season, next time I see Cecil, he's dead. Like, I'll be like, look, this was the stupidest plan you could possibly came up with, and now I got to deal with it again. He doesn't know that, and he's not gonna know that, I guess, until maybe Cecil tells him. But man, I'd be so pissed off.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're going to have Mark figure it out right away that Cecil had to make him get back together. But I wonder if he's going to figure it out because Conquest was dead last time. But this fight was crazy. Like I enjoyed this. This is pretty comic accurate. You had the other two Viltrumites, Lucan and not Thrad, Crad or Crud. It was in there. And they were fighting. I would have liked to see Alan put up more of a fight, though, as strong as he's gotten. He barely put up a fight himself.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wanted to see what Alan can do, and you get to see a little bit of it. And obviously, I wanted more out of Tech Jacket. Like, I guess she still has a way to go in her training, in her fighting. But it felt like Space Racer was kind of like ready to go when they found him. And obviously, he'll be back. It's at some point. We saw Tech Jacket. Her being on Earth made me kind of fearful of this because I'm like, okay, we haven't seen this character before, and Earth's been in peril a lot. Yeah. So in that instance, it kind of makes sense because she's still fighting and training and getting better. But it's also, too, now it makes me wonder, did y'all need Tech Jacket? Like, I'm split between like, okay, you need everybody you can get, but she doesn't really seem to be able to help them very much. Just alpha fighting these two, and we got 47 more to go, or I guess 46. Or was it? I guess 48 because they didn't expect Conquest to be back. Yeah. There's got 48 more to go besides them, and it's like, yeah, I don't know how much or how they're gonna make her better, but she with Oliver both got to get in the gym and train.
Yeah, Oliver begged them to let him come. Came up there, and all the first thing that happens is he gets backhand across the field, and I'm like, damn, he got some hits in, a couple of them, and you can see they were affecting Conquest. But after maybe like the fifth hit, he said, "Okay, I'm done with this kid," and he's about to crush his head to pieces.
Yeah, I guess my biggest beef with Oliver is he's just not a tactical fighter at all. No. Like, okay, I get it. You're half Viltrumite like Mark, and obviously you're not as strong as Mark or prepared, but like you in that way, you need to adapt. And maybe that's and a little bit of underlying thing with this episode I was going to put a little later, but obviously him and Omni-Man, they got some underlining beef here that we'll get to solve eventually. But they're going to have to teach him to be way more tactical. So I'm like, man, you cannot go around recklessly. Like, you're not them. Like, they can maybe do that and just go up on the biggest opponent. But for all the Viltrumites to show up, you got these people with guns, and you go after Conquest of all of them, who is a legend in the Viltrumite. Obviously, race, like, you're going to get somebody killed, and basically almost does.
Yeah, he pretty much was trash. Like you said, he should have went after all the small fries. Even the other two that came with Conquest. We got the Conquest first. Makes no sense. I would have sent Alan at Conquest. Alan will recover.
Yeah, and even like as much as I get criticism for Tech Jacket, he's worse than her right now. Yeah. At least she's tactical. She's doing it smartly, and she thinks. And I think that's kind of the advantage of something they can learn off of her. But yeah, I do like that. But yeah, obviously they're all in space, and they can't breathe. They're just holding their breath, so they will eventually run out. Get knocked to the planet next door where Oliver goes to breathe, and then Conquest goes after him. And obviously we get a rematch, which I do like this rematch a lot because it's shown where Invincible has come in a short amount of time. And without really saying it, the growth of his strength and his ability kind of shows off because it's like he hasn't really done much since Conquest left. But he had all the help in the world with Eve and got, well, yes, initially was way less damage than he was on Earth fighting him, where it seemed like he had no chance. And this one, it seemed like he made a tactical decision to take damage on to make sure he killed him.
Yeah, and this time he definitely stood a chance. His punches were affecting him, the kicks were affecting him. He was almost as strong, if not the same strength as Conquest. He's just not as good as a fighter as Conquest is, as you saw. This is like the moves he was using was like Dragon Ball moves. 1988, like, real slow. And then he had one singular goal throughout the fight, and that wasn't the smartest thing. It may have worked, wasn't the smartest thing, leaving your entire body open for 5 minutes, but why not?
yeah, be tough, I guess. But yeah. So obviously a lot going on this one. I think a couple things here that sets this up to one. We kind of know, and that's what I like about this. We kind of know where our heroes are right now. And thinking of down the line, as we got Thrag coming down the line, we're like, this team has a bunch to go through. And I know, obviously, next season is already greenlit for Invincible. So we're probably going to have at least a season and a half left to go as far as this. But our heroes got to come a long way to kind of get better. I don't know how they do it in the comics, but they out training. And I think, obviously, he has a plan. But we get to know where our heroes are right now. And I do like that. Obviously, we see them all. We can evaluate them all and say, like, hey, there's 48 more guys. You might be in trouble here. So definitely evaluating that. But also, too, I feel like with this stuff and Nolan, and that's kind of a theme of this episode, he's trying to make up for what he's done before. And obviously, you just see how much better he is, except for Conquest and everyone else. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be kind of a little bit of a part of it. Like, I think him being able to train Oliver and Mark, get them ready, make them more tactical, should be a really big part of the rest of this season and how it's going. Obviously, you got to put Mark back together. And also, too, my biggest question is, like, how the heck is he going to survive? And, like, the show's called Invincible. So I'm like, all right, he ain't going to die, but it's like...
No, they got healing pods. That's why I kind of reference Dragon Ball Z a lot when I'm talking about the show. Like, the Viltrumites, almost like Alan's pretty much like a Saiyan. He just keeps getting stronger the more battles he's in, blah, blah, blah. They have healing tanks and healing pods. So they're going to probably just throw a mark on one of them healing pods, and that'll be it. The first part of the next episode will just be him barely alive, floating to the ship, and then they're going to end up healing him. He'll be healed the episode.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure not going to take forever on that. My bigger question, maybe for the audience, should he still be alive? Because I'm like, you just got your organs pulled out for like 3 minutes here. I don't know how you're going to survive that, sir.
I was wondering when he was going to run out of intestine. I was like, hello. How much you got in there?
Well, the Viltrumites, they carry at least 48 extra feet of intestines from humans. So
apparently, because I'm like, what's going on? Like, when he kept pulling and pulling, I was like, what's going on? He should have not even been able to move his arms anymore.
Yeah, no, definitely crazy. But actually, I didn't ask you, but the talk here is going to be obviously Conquest showing up in this fight between them two. Is this the most brutal fight for you? Like, is this the one where you're like, whoa, or have we been so, I guess so desensitized from even going back to season 1 and the stuff? And I just recently looked at the Battle Beast Mark fight way back, and I believe season 1, and that was brutal. And I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, are we so desensitized that it's just like, this is just another one, or is it like, whoa, like, because everyone's gonna overreact? This was a crazy fight. Mark probably should be dead, even though he won't be. Like, are they up in the ante, or are we just like, or is this just run of the mill for Invincible?
I think it's just run of the mill for Invincible, because again, it was a singular goal Mark had throughout the fight. He didn't have a whole bunch of strategy. The last fight with Conquest, or the first fight with Conquest that he had, I think was a little bit more brutal, because Conquest was toying with everybody that he fought and would just break an arm, break a leg, crush a head. I think that was more brutal because it was Conquest against everybody.
Yeah.
I think that was a lot more brutal than this one. Conquest is brutal. He tried to do some things, but eventually he couldn't. So
yeah, and the one thing was, don't let him breathe, and if you don't, he'll eventually pass out. It took forever, but he eventually did. Oh, I like that, but yeah, this kind of left off with things a little bit scrambled. Obviously, we got a lot going on. Tech Jacket and Alan are on their way probably to the Viltrumite planet, because they hit on that shit, which I'm like, guess you do what you have to do, but I don't know. Was that a great idea? I wonder what will happen with that storyline. We can talk about that in a second here. Obviously, they also got left. So I'm wondering where next episode is going to go, because obviously that ship got blown up. The other ship is going back to where the other Viltrumite guy, I always forget his name. Natus. Yeah, Natus. Going back to where he is, because they know they need to get back, recoup, and they also have a mole that's working against them, which means they are probably that much closer to using that drug that they used against the Viltrumites before. So we got that going on, and obviously Omni-Man and all of them have to make it back and have to make it off that planet. And can Mark even hold his breath anymore? That's the thing. That's all pulled out. So,
you know what? I was talking about healing pods and stuff. I forgot that they left them there.
Yeah, they
So
left him.
I don't know how he's going to get healed actually.
Yeah, so a lot is up in the air. So I guess we'll go in a little prediction mode a little bit. We'll start with Alan and Tech Jacket. What do you think will happen with them upcoming? I mean, obviously you've read the comics, so you may know a little more. But what's your prediction as the show is going to do with them? Like, you think they escape at some point? Do you think they're going to fight their way out? How do you think that's, or do you think they're going to end up on a Viltrumite planet? Like, oh shit.
I haven't finished the comic book yet. I just got the compendium like a month ago. I'm a little bit past here, but I believe it's going to be different. I think that they're going to have to try to float him to the next planet with inhabitants and get healed. That's the only.
Oh
That's the
no, I'm
only
talking about Tech Jacket and
Oh,
Alan.
sorry, Tech Jack and Alan. Just spy along, see what's going on, because it's just got all the Viltrumites are strong, but it's not the main people. It's not Conquest. He's gone. It's not Bragg. So eventually, if they get caught because of how stupid Alan is before they land somewhere, I'm assuming they're going to have to land somewhere before they go back home or back to Earth. So they're going to have to try to sneak off and get their own ship.
Yeah, I actually, now that I'm thinking with Conquest dead, I wonder if they just run it back because they didn't do great, I guess. And Tech Jacket definitely needs some help, but maybe that's where we'll see Alan, where his back against the wall, really have to go and fight. We can see how strong he is. I mean, if those two are able to take out two Viltrumites, I think that would be a good storyline for them. Land the next planet, get caught, be able to use a little more tactical, maybe from the planet, not just being out in space and then seeing what Alan can really do, I think would be pretty cool. Moving on to Invincible, and obviously that situation, like you said, they're stuck on the planet. So go ahead with what you were saying before.
Oh yeah, I just think, but you're right though. I would like to see what Alan can really do, but they're stuck on the planet because I really had in my mind that they could just float up slowly to the ship and heal him with the pod. They would have to float around to another planet and find a way to heal him or something like that because they can't heal him. They're not unless Omni-Man's going to shove all that stuff back in his body and seal it up.
Probably in some form of fashion, but also too, I also wonder if they'll play, and this is something they could do to level up Oliver. I wonder if they'll play with the dangers of that planet. We don't know what's on that planet. We just there could be beasts up there that cause serious problems. So I like that. Also too with Thetis and what they're gonna do, which is the other part of this. I wonder. I wonder if this pushes this more towards him and Omni-Man are eventually going to have a showdown, because I think with him thinking like, well, those are our heroes, I hope they survive. But what if they don't? And now maybe I don't have no choice. I got to use this drug. I can't go down there and fight myself. Like, I'm going to have to use this drug. So I wonder if we'll get that to start to go into motion with all those other things. But overall, very good episode. Like you said, episode 4, a little bit of a side quest, you can call it.
I don't even think that he's going to get a chance to use the drug. I think he's going to come into contact with some enemies and they're going to get the best of him. I don't think he's going to get a chance to even try to use it.
Well, there is a mole, so and they know this, so maybe the mole will take him out before even there. Even though I'm pretty sure in the trailer he ended up in a fight, so with the other heroes. So I think at some point he won't get taken out before he at least fights, and then maybe that he gets taken out and doesn't use a drug. But yeah, I thought a really banger episode, especially coming off episode 4. I didn't hate episode 4. I get it was slow, but I do like the theory and side quest. I don't mind as long as you don't give me a season of that. I'm all good. But yeah, banger episode 5, and obviously we got some stuff upcoming. But yeah, some of the other line of things I thought they handled the drama really well, like you said. I thought, you know, we obviously have the running thing with Oliver and Omni-Man. I wonder how that's going to play out. That's one of the things that has me most interested in just revealing where our heroes are right now and where they need to be to take down the Viltrumite Empire. I like all that stuff. So we're a little over halfway now into the season. Yep. Probably a high price admission. First 3 episodes, home run. Last episode, low for, I guess, run of the mill. I can't even get that price, but it's run of the mill. If you see it, you see it. If you don't see it, you didn't miss much. Maybe a little bit. A cool fighter. So, and then this episode, obviously, another probably high price. Now, probably wouldn't put a home run, but a high price admission episode for me. We always had to get drama out the way, but still a lot of good things. So that's where I am right now. Where are you at in this season?
I'd give the whole season as a whole high price admission. Every episode I give a high price admission, except for episode 4. I'd give it. I'm not gonna give it a strikeout because it's not a bad episode.
That's terrible.
I wanted to. I wanted to give it, but it's just an episode that you don't have to see if you're going to rewatch the season. You didn't have to watch it. You didn't miss anything. So it's like a Dragon Ball Z filler you didn't need.
Yeah, it'll come back later, and you'll just be like, "Oh, he's back. He's back from hell." Okay,
that's it.
So that's all you need to know. But yeah, a lot of good stuff. But make sure you hit the comments down below and do that for us. Let us know. We got a lot of questions here. Most brutal fight, did that happen? Let us know there. What do you think is going to come of our heroes? And what do you think with all these quests that they're about to go on separately, and how that's going to shake down? Hit that like button and all that good stuff, Scotty. They're not on YouTube, and there are other places. Where can they find us at there?
Well, you can find me, Kuronocomics, on TikTok, where I talk comic books. You can find us on MLF Shorts on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. And you can find us in the email, minorleaguefilms@gmail.com. And, of course, right here on YouTube.
There you go. Like I said, we have other videos up. Daredevil posted last night, so check that out. We also have a couple horror movie rankings, so check that out. And Mario comes this weekend. So the grind never stops. So videos will keep coming. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and check those out. All that good stuff. We'll catch you next time.